Welcome back to UGC Net English Detailed Lectures. In the previous class, we discussed about T.S. Eliot, the biography of T.S. Eliot. Today we will discuss Sophocles' play Oedipus Rex. When we talk about Oedipus Rex, more than the details about the play, it is the play itself. The summary, the story itself is important. So let's analyze both. Oedipus Rex came around 429 BC, written by Sophocles 496 to 406 BC. Sophocles is famous for writing 3 Theban plays. It is very, very important. Remember, Sophocles 3 Theban plays. Oedipus Rex, Oedipus Rex, and Antigone. What does it mean by Theban plays? Thebes was an ancient Egyptian city located along the Niles. So Theban plays means plays mainly set in Thebes. Thebes is an ancient Egyptian city located along the Nile River. The genre of the work, the play, is tragedy. The play is a tragedy. And basically set in, as we have said, the ancient city of Thebes, an ancient Egyptian city located along the Nile River. And the chorus of the play. Chorus include the Theban elders of the Thebes. There are mute characters. Mute characters means characters who don't have a conversation in the play, but they appear in the other plays, other Theban plays, but not in Oedipus Rex. So the mute characters of the play include daughters of Oedipus, Antigone and Ismene. The play is also known by some other titles like Oedipus Tyrannus or Oedipus the King. So these all mean Oedipus Rex. The play Oedipus Rex is also titled Oedipus Tyrannus or Oedipus the King. And the term Tyrannus means a tyrant. Tyrant means a ruler with no legitimate claim to rule. So here tyrant, the meaning of the word tyrant means a ruler with no legitimate claim to rule. It is an Athenian tragedy. Athenian tragedy means tragedy from Athens. And the play was premiered in the theatre of Dionysus, Athens. It is written in classical Greek. And the play is constantly quoted by Aristotle in his work, The Poetics. So according to Aristotle, Sophocles, Oedipus Rex is the perfect example of a tragedy. The themes of the play include fate, free will, tragic flaw, guilt and shame, sight versus blindness, etc. Themes include fate, free will, tragic flaw, guilt and shame, sight versus blindness, etc. Now let's analyze the summary, because the summary of the work is important, especially Oedipus Rex. They always ask detailed points from the story rather than from the details about the play. So let's start the play. So before we start the play, we have to relate one old story. Before the story of Oedipus, there happened an old story So we have to start from that story. So it is, remember, Oedipus was the son of Laius. Laius was the son of Labdacus. So Oedipus' grandfather was Labdacus. From his story, we have to start Oedipus Rex. So Labdacus was the king of Thebes. Laius all the story. After the death of the king of Thebes named Labdacus, who was Laius' father, the throne was taken and Laius was forced to flee. So after Laius, Oedipus' father was Laius. So Laius' father was Labdacus. So after the death of Labdacus, the kingdom was taken away by someone. So Laius had to escape in order to save his life. He was taken in by King Pelops of Elis. So Laius goes to the nearby kingdom, that is Elis, whose king is King Pelops. So now Laius is in the kingdom of King Pelops. So Laius became the tutor of Chrysippus, Pelops' son. The king Pelops' son was Chrysippus, and Laius fell in love with the young boy. So Laius was also young, so he feels a homosexual love, same-sex love towards the son of Pelops. The son's name is Chrysippus. Chrysippus rejected Laius' advances, and in return, Laius took Chrysippus and raped him. So Chrysippus was not interested in Laius for a same-sex relationship. So Chrysippus rejected him. So the angry Laius rapes Chrysippus. Unable to cope with the attack, Chrysippus committed suicide. So after, Laius attacked Chrysippus sexually, Chrysippus commits suicide. Pelops asked the gods to curse Laius and his family. So after knowing the truth, Pelops asked the gods' help to punish Laius. The gods curse Laius. So that curse is the reason for the story of Oedipus. So Oedipus is fated to bed with his own mother. Oedipus, having sex with his own mother because of an old curse from gods. Now let's begin the Oedipus Rex play. When the play opens, Thebes is suffering a plague which leaves its fields and women barren. So a plague appears to the country Thebes. So now we know that the ruler is Oedipus. So all the backstory has happened. That means Oedipus has killed his father and married his mother. Now he is the ruler of Thebes. But when the play opens, we don't know anything about these. We see Oedipus as the ruler of Thebes. So when the play opens, we see bad omens really happen to the kingdom of Oedipus. Plague, and women are not able to give birth to children. Oedipus, the king of Thebes, has sent his brother-in-law Creon to the house of Apollo to ask the oracle how to end the plague. So Oedipus is the ruler. He has to find out a solution for the problem. So he sends his brother-in-law, Creon, to the house of Apollo. So to ask the help of the oracle to end the plague. So Creon goes and comes back with good news that once the killer of the previous king, Laius, is found, Thebes will be cured of the plague. So we understand that the previous king, Laius, was killed by someone. So we don't know who killed Laius, but we know that Oedipus killed his own father. So Laius was his father and Jocasta was his mother. But without knowing any of these, truths, Oedipus married Jocasta after killing Laius. But Oedipus is unaware of the backstory of these. So he marries Jocasta without knowing that she is his own mother. So Laius was killed by someone. They have to find out the murderer, then the country will come back to its prosperous days. So that is the reply given to the King Oedipus, given by the oracle. Laius was Jocasta's husband before she married Oedipus. So we know that Oedipus is the son of King Laius and Queen Jocasta. But without knowing this, he married his mother after murdering Laius. So Creon's words that really gives comfort to Oedipus. Oedipus now swears that he will find the murderer and banish the murderer. So without knowing that Oedipus himself is the murderer, he says that he will find out the murderer. The chorus representing the people of Thebes suggests that Oedipus consulted Tiresias, the blind prophet. So now the chorus tells that the blind prophet Tiresias can help Oedipus. Oedipus tells them that he has already sent for Tiresias. When Tiresias arrives, he seems reluctant to answer Oedipus' questions, warning Oedipus that he does not want to know the answer. So Tiresias knows that Oedipus is the murderer. So he tells Oedipus it is better not to know the truth. But Oedipus wants to know the truth. So Oedipus threatens Tiresias with the death. And finally, Tiresias tells him that Oedipus himself is the killer and that his marriage is a sinful union. So Tiresias tells that he has murdered King Laius and married his own mother. Oedipus takes this as an insult and jumps to the conclusion that Creon paid Tiresias to say these things. Oedipus feels that Tiresias is telling lies because it is a play arranged by Creon. That is the doubt of Oedipus. So Oedipus doesn't believe the story. Furious, Oedipus dismisses him and Tiresias goes, repeating as he does that Laius' killer is right here before him, a man who is his father's killer and his mother's husband, a man who came seeing but will live in blindness. So Tiresias tells the truth that Oedipus himself is the killer. Now Tiresias is gone and enters Creon, brother-in-law of Oedipus. So the brother-in-law doesn't know what happened between Tiresias and Oedipus. But he Creon has heard that Oedipus has charged him with treason. So Creon enters, asking people around him if it is true that Oedipus slanderously accused him. So Creon doesn't know that Oedipus has really said something bad about him. So when Creon comes to know about the words of Oedipus, he asks the others what happened between Tiresias and Oedipus. So they tell him what happened. The chorus tries to mediate, but Oedipus appears and charges Creon with treason. So the chorus tries to pacify the situation, but Oedipus tells that, yes, Creon is a villain. He tried to take Oedipus' throne by creating false stories. Jocasta and the chorus beg Oedipus to be open-minded. Oedipus unwillingly relents and allows Creon to go. Oedipus was really angry at Creon, but the others tried to pacify him. Jocasta asks Oedipus why he is so upset, and he tells her what Tiresias prophesied. Now Jocasta asks for the reason of Oedipus' anger, and Oedipus tells what Tiresias had told him. Jocasta confronts him by telling him that there is no truth in oracles or prophets, and she has proof. So Jocasta tells not to believe anyone. And in order to prove her point, she also tells him one story. Long ago, an oracle told Laius that his own son would kill him. As a result, he and Jocasta gave their infant son to a shepherd to leave out on a hillside to die with a pin through its ankles. So that son was Oedipus. Yet Laius was killed by robbers, not by his own son, proof that the oracle was wrong. But something about her story troubles Oedipus. She said that Laius was killed at a place where three roads meet, and this reminds Oedipus of an incident from his past. When he killed a stranger at a place where three roads met, he asks her to describe Laius, and her description matches his memory. So now Oedipus himself really doubts that it was Laius whom he murdered once. But Jocasta tells him that the only eyewitness to Laius' death, a herdsman, saw that 5 robbers killed him. But Jocasta tells that there is no way, because Laius was killed by 5 herdsmen. Oedipus summons this witness. While they wait for the man to arrive, Jocasta asks Oedipus why he seems so troubled. Oedipus tells her the story of his past. Once, when he was young, a man he met had told him that he was not his father's son. He asked his parents about it, and they denied it. Still, it troubled him, and he eventually went to an oracle to determine his true lineage. The oracle then told him that he would kill his father and marry his mother. This prophecy so frightened Oedipus that he left his hometown and never returned. So Oedipus now starts to tell his story. So we know that after Jocasta and Laius, they are blessed with a boy child. They leave the child in the forest because there was a prophecy that the boy will kill his father and will marry his mother. So fearing this, Jocasta and Laius left the baby. But someone had taken the baby and gave it to another couple. So once a man had told Oedipus that he is not the real son of his parents. So his foster parents, they denied that he is the real son. But Oedipus was really doubtful, so he seeks the help of the oracle. And the oracle tells that he would kill his father and marry his mother. So fearing this, Oedipus leaves his foster parents. And then he meets Laius on the way and he kills Laius. And then he reaches near the palace of Jocasta and then he marries her. That means his own mother. So that's what the story you see. On his journey, he encountered a haughty man at a crossroads and he killed the man after suffering an insult. So it was Laius, his own father, but without knowing it, he kills. Oedipus is afraid that the stranger he killed might have been Laius. If this is the case, Oedipus will be forever banished both from Thebes, that means the punishment he saw for the killer of Laius, and also from Corinth, his hometown. So the person would be punished. That means he would be banished from the country. That was the punishment declared by Oedipus to the murder of Laius. If this eyewitness will swear that robbers killed Laius, then Oedipus is exonerated. But if it happens otherwise, Oedipus need not leave his country. He prays for the witness to deliver him from guilt and from banishment. Oedipus and Jocasta enter the palace to wait for him. Jocasta comes back out of the palace on her way to the holy temples to pray for Oedipus. A messenger arrives from Corinth with the news that Oedipus' father Polybus is dead. So now Oedipus' foster father Polybus and his mother was Merope. So he gets the news that his foster father Polybus has died. Overjoyed, Jocasta sends for Oedipus, glad that she has even more proof in the uselessness of oracles. So everyone believes that Oedipus is the son of Polybus and his wife Merope. But Oedipus is not the son of Polybus. But without knowing this, everyone is happy because they believe that the prophecy is wrong. Because Polybus is now dead. And it was not, through Oedipus. The death happened. So they were happy. Oedipus also, he was also happy. He rejoices, but then states that he is still afraid of the rest of the oracle's prophecy. That is, that he will marry his mother. So he believes that his father, Polybus, is dead, but Merope is alive. So there is another prophecy that he would marry his mother, whom he believes is Merope. But we know that Merope and Polybus are not his real parents. The messenger assures him that he need not fear approaching Corinth, since Merope, his mother, is not really his mother, and moreover, Polybus was not his father either. So when the messenger was summoned, before him, the messenger assures him that he need not bother because Merope is not his real mother. Stunned, Oedipus asks him how he came to know this. The messenger replies that years ago a man gave a baby to him and he delivered this baby to the king and queen of Corinth. A baby that would grow up to be Oedipus the king. The injury to Oedipus' ankles is a testimony to the truth of his tale because the baby's feet had been pierced through the ankles. Oedipus asks the messenger who gave the baby to him, and he replies that it was one of Laius' servants. Oedipus then says this man out to find this servant. The messenger suggests that Jocasta should be able to help identify the servant and help unveil the true story of Oedipus' birth. Suddenly, understanding the terrible truth, Jocasta begs Oedipus not to carry through with his investigation. Oedipus replies that he sought to unravel this mystery and I will follow through on his word. Jocasta exits into the palace. Oedipus again swears that he will figure out this secret, no matter how wild the answer is. The goddess senses that something bad is about to happen and joins Jocasta's cry in begging the mystery to be left unresolved. So now Jocasta is convinced that she is married to her own son, Oedipus. Oedipus' men lead in an old shepherd who is afraid to answer Oedipus' questions. But finally he tells Oedipus the truth. He did in fact give the messenger a baby boy, and that baby boy was Laius' son, the same son where Jocasta and Laius left on a hillside to die because of the oracle prophesied. So the truth is out now. Finally, the truth is clear. Devastated, Oedipus exits into the palace. A messenger reveals that he grabbed a sword and searched for Jocasta with the intent to kill her. Upon entering her chamber, however, he finds that she has hanged herself. So Jocasta kills herself using her own bed sheets. Oedipus takes the gold brooches from her dress and gouges his eyes out. So Oedipus takes some pins from her dress and gouges his eyes out. He appears on stage again, blood streaming from his now blind eyes. He cries out that he who has seen and done such wild things shall never see again. He begs the chorus to kill him. Creon enters, having heard the entire story, and begs Oedipus to come inside, where he will not be seen. Oedipus begs him to let him leave the city, and Creon tells him that he must consult Apollo first. Oedipus tells him that banishment was the punishment he declared for Laius' killer, and Creon agrees with him. Before he leaves forever, however, Oedipus asks to see his daughters and he begs Creon to take care of them. Oedipus is then led away, while Creon and the girls go back in the palace. The chorus alone laments Oedipus' tragic fate and his doomed lineage. So after hugging his two daughters, his daughters were Antigone and Ismene, Ismene and Antigone. So after hugging them, Oedipus leaves. That's the story of Oedipus Rex, written by Sophocles. In the next class, we will discuss one of T.S. Eliot's poems, that is, the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock.